Okay, in this video we are going to learn how to adjust the plastic spool. We are going to learn how to adjust the tension, and in case the bobbin case is not failing for some reason, we will learn also how to repair the plastic part if it has any wear and tear, or the spring, which is what helps to tension the thread. And now let's start with the basics, which is how we should set it up. The spool or the bobbin, how we should adjust the tension. The first thing we are going to do is insert the spool, which we have already explained in previous videos. Spool must turn counterclockwise, the clock hand, just like we see at this moment, that is to the left. Let's introduce it. When inserting the spool, remember that in this part, this little slot must hold the thread. Insert the thread and pull it this way. We can see that the thread would come out like this. By placing the spool in that direction, we increase the tension on the thread, so the thread will never be loose. And with the tension that it normally has, it creates good tension for both the bottom thread and the top thread. If we insert it the other way around, we see that it will turn in the same direction, that the thread doesn't come out, so it will be a little bit looser. And on some machines, not all, it happens that the stitching comes loose and it makes us a bit, due to tension adjustments. Ideally, you should insert it the other way around. We must also keep in mind that the thread should always pass through this small groove, which is what creates the tension for us. If we don't pass the thread through here, the machine will be incorrectly threaded. If the capobina thread is not threaded correctly, it's not going to give us tension. The machine won't sew and we'll have a lot of knots. We need to keep in mind that when the machine is sewing, the thread always goes in this direction. Just as I have it right now, it comes out and comes out in this direction. Here we see it has a small stop, plastic part. This whole spool is plastic, and this part also causes us problems because when the thread passes here, it causes wear here. So if the machine starts breaking the bottom thread, this could be one of the possible causes for that thread break. Let's continue. Let's remove the spool and let's see. From these two screws, which many people have many doubts about. What are these two screws for? Let's start with the right one. This right one. It is the one that helps us hold the tension spring in place, along with the small plate that helps with the thread tension. If this screw is missing for some reason, it gets damaged or broken, it will make this part not to fully attach it. The thread tension will vary. So the law binds us to violence piece here. This left one is the one that gives us the tension to the thread. Let's do a test. Let's loosen it completely, and we are going to start to see the correct tension that our beret box should have. We see that it's completely loose. If we loosen it more, it will come out of the sheet. Let's put the spool in, and we see that comes out very weak. It comes out completely loose. If we do it like this, we see that it comes out very loose now. How do we tighten it? For that, we use the screw. As we keep sewing, if the top curve is too loose, we add some tension. The tension is always set to the right and loosened to the left. We put much more tension. We should start noticing that it creates more tension. It should be just right. As we know, our tin town, when the tension is right, the thread will come out like this. And we see that if we pull it manually, it's generating good tension for us. So for this would be the two screws. Remember, it tightens the pieces to the plastic part since they are metal, and the other one, the one on the left, generates enough tension for the thread so that we get a good seam. So the other thing we need to keep in mind is that since it's a plastic spool, it will wear out much faster than metal spools used for vertical crab. Therefore, when the thread was breaking, when it's not cooking well, not giving us the attention, we need to check what's going on. So the cabin has some wear, some burrs, some edges, and therefore it will cause skipped stitches, and the most common thing, which is thread breakage at the exact point. To look at this, the part that can cause us the most problems is this part here, which is where the thread comes out straight, and here the thread gets held and comes out through here. This part usually wears out, so we need to use a piece of 400 or 500 grit sandpaper and smooth the edges to prevent further breakage. When this part is very worn out, we can simply replace it, since it is a part that is inexpensive, and we can achieve it easily on the market. After seeing all this and analyzing it, now we move on to a problem that is not very common but can arise, and it is a problem with with the thread tension spring. We are going to loosen the screw that holds the spring. We are going to take it out completely, and very carefully we will see that it is a very small screw that we might lose. Ideally we would do it in a place where if they fall they won't be lost easily, and we also need to loosen the tension. I am going to show you the two parts involved in the tension of the cabin, which are metallic but can also get damaged. Here we have it as so. This is the piece that holds the tensioner and guides us this way. Now then, by passing the thread through here, lower this part, and this part doesn't create tension. For the screw that increases or decreases tension, tighten this one. If we reduce it, this piece here, it will open a little more, and it will make the thread come out looser with less tension. If we tighten the screw, this piece sticks more to the other, and it's going to create more tension for us. In case any of these two parts fail or break for any reason, we must replace them, which is also possible. You can buy or simply buy the complete bobbin, and that's how they would go in the casing. It wouldn't cause any problems as long as they are good. Now I'm going to show you how. In case you did it, here's how we should place it. First, we put the one that helps with the tension, line like this, but in this part, and the other one, this one is bigger, the bigger one, and to slightly increase the pressure we need to insert it a bit. Okay, we work there and give it a little push until we get the connection, and now there it stayed. We put it back. The two screws, the screw that holds the piece to the box, and this one, which is the tension screw, and that's how the bobbin would be completely repaired again after removing the spring and ready to sew.